So we just started our Kickstarter.
We did
Boom!
Start our Kickstarter. And we're already...
It's been going for... what is it? 9 hours now?
Something like that.
About 9 hours.
7, so.
Yeah. Yes, 7 o'clock at night. About 9 hours. Even though this won't go up for about a week, but we're 9 hours in.
Yeah.
So
super stoked. We already have a bunch of backers.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this and you backed in the first 72 hours, you're going to get some awesome motherfucking cookies.
Delish.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's what we're talking about, son.
Yeah. They're addicting too. Like, you want to just keep eating them, and it's really bad, but delicious.
It's, yeah. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but they're honestly the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever had in my life. I really don't like most people's chocolate chip cookies because of it. But
yeah, they're just gooey and soft and delicious and everything.
Yes, if you're going to get it, you're also going to get all my tips and tricks and my family secret that's passed down to make these cookies.
For ages.
Yeah, about 3 generations.
That's ages.
Yeah. And when I got it, I modified it to be vegan, which was changing one little thing. And now my mom only makes it vegan because she thinks it's better.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Way to do it.
Yeah, so we'll give you that recipe with it.
Yeah.
Well, if you're listening now, it's too late.
It's too late. But you can still back. We'll probably have some awesome exiting backers.
Yeah.
Exiting rewards as well.
Hey, and if you do decide to back, and it is past the time, and you put in a comment, I'd really love some cookies. I'll probably get you some cookies.
Yeah.
I'll get you some damn cookies.
Yeah, just mention it.
Oh, man. See, hear that running outside? That's why we need Kickstarter.
Yeah, because
That stomping? That's my 6-year-old.
She's upset because she can't play with a friend.
Yeah.
And this is the worst day to record. This day we always record.
Yep.
Just when all the kids are always outside.
God, she's been so good today.
Yeah.
And we sit down to record, and she turns into a shit. It's true. She's a cute shit.
She's a cute shit, but
she's
total
a shit
still.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy.
So, Jordan.
I don't know what the fuck to talk about today. I don't feel good. I'm sick. Last week, Jeremy was sick, and
I was sick for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it was ridiculous.
You know,
I'm just barely getting over it.
He probably gave it to me or something, and so now when we were having mad makeout sessions and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I wasn't contagious at that point, and that's why we went to that orgy.
Yeah.
I mean, by orgy, I mean it was just me and you.
Yeah.
But
it felt like a lot of people were there with my hands all over you.
It really did. I mean, it was quite amazing.
It was good.
I mean, the ecstasy probably helped.
Kidding.
I am? You can be straight edge and do ecstasy, right?
Yeah, because there's an X in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. That's how
and that's why you can
roll.
drink Dos Equis, too, because it's 2 X's instead.
Well, yeah.
Anything with 3 X's, you're just way good to go.
That's how I live my life, man.
As long as it has an X on it, you're good to go.
Good to go.
Poison, go for it.
I mean, that's why I got X's tattooed on me, because anything that touches me is now straight edge. Right?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Those cookies that you made? Those are straight edge cookies.
So you know that picture you sent to me, you're like, hey, did you ever know this person that had that huge X on their head with the AK-47 set? Yeah. No, I never fucking knew that person. That must have been like way early 90s Salt Lake hardcore. There's no way like
knowing that.
I got involved in the scene, fuck. It would have been like 96, 97. End of 96, beginning of 97. So, and that was, you're using my Unit Pride CD case as a coaster.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, fucking Unit Pride. Awesome band. You guys don't know who they are. We're using their liner notes as a coaster.
Yes.
Thank you, Unit Pride.
Thank you, Unit Pride.
I originally bought that CD just because it was purple.
You do like purple.
Purple's my favorite color. Mm-hmm. That's why you're drinking purple Kool-Aid.
You're drinking out of a purple mug.
And I'm drinking out of a purple mug.
And you wouldn't hear this if we were backed on Kickstarter. Yeah. Because we'll have awesome
Hear that?
pop
See,
filters.
that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I have a mug of tea and a mug of water usually.
I usually do too. I only have tea right now. I got a huge fucking thing of tea.
And I got like a ginger tea plus some purple Kool-Aid.
So I have this question. When I was see, I pulled up this picture. We talked about this for a second.
Put it on
a while ago.
Instagram.
We should put this on Instagram. So this is a picture of me when I have to be 17, maybe 18.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I'm skinny as fuck. Like way skinny. Hot ass skinny. Like if I saw
That's
myself
pretty
right
hot.
now, I'd be like, I might be gay. Right?
That's a good looking kid.
Yeah. So I'm wearing a vegan straight edge little t-shirt, black bandana, like what the fuck? You know, I'm the shit.
Totally 90s.
Yeah, khakis with a animal rights hoodie tied around my waist. Up in the mountains
The
of Denver.
haircut's totally 90s too. You look like a cliche.
Do you know why I started wearing the bandana like that?
Because Carl did?
Fuck yeah, Carl Crisis from Earth Crisis.
I was going to say you look like Carl Crisis.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
funny.
why I did that. I'm totally like right there. Like
That's funny.
I was that kid.
Mm-hmm.
So how come nobody told me? Like I just always
That's
assumed
not
being
cool.
vegan. Well, yeah, fuck that part. But being vegan, I always just assumed that I would always be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I not look like that anymore? And I have this little pot belly.
Because
Did you hear that whistling?
yeah,
Yeah, that's why we need new microphones.
it
people.
is one.
Kickstarter.com. Look us up.
Which side?
Woohoo!
But
Yeah, so why the fuck do I have this belly?
because they started coming out with awesome vegan junk food and processed food. They have veggies and cheese and all sorts of meats now. And
Don't even bring up Veganays right
Fucking
now. I'm
cookies.
pissed at Follow Your Heart.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend that used to work there and sent me stuff all the time, and I thought it was all vegan, but they're not all vegan.
No. Like, okay, so the store I shop at just got a shit ton of all the new Follow Your Heart stuff. Spicy ranch, tartar sauce, all this other stuff, right? And we're like, sweet, we came here to get some Tafuti sour cream to make some ranch dressing for a party we were going to, St. Patrick's Day party. And I'm like, well, let's grab the ranch dressing. Grab the ranch dressing, look at it, not vegan.
And it's funny because it has veggies as like the main ingredient most of the time,
Yeah,
and then they put milk in it still. It's like, why?
it just made me mad. But yeah, I was really pissed. I was really pissed.
This too.
I will not be so pissed if they decide to sponsor us. Please.
I won't be as pissed.
I won't be as pissed. Yeah, but I just was always under the assumption that they were a vegan company. How dumb is that? I'm really glad I read the ingredients on it.
Yeah.
I actually only read the ingredients because the very front of it said buttermilk. I'm like, buttermilk? They get some artificial buttermilk? You're pouring a lot of agave in that tea.
It's not a lot. It wasn't coming out.
Oh, was it? I don't ever use a sweetener in tea, so...
This is ginger. I need it to coat my throat.
Do you know, I was doing... what I was doing last week was a quarter lemon squeezed, fresh squeezed, a pinch of cayenne, and some of the agave with hot water.
Be good.
Oh, and a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar.
And then you dilute it, right?
And then dilute it with water. Yeah, hot water. Make a tea out of it.
You dilute it to like the point where it's homeopathic.
No, I don't dilute that much. But just make a normal mug out of it. And it works pretty good. It fucking burned your throat, though. Like, it
I
burned
bet.
it. It was a good burn, though.
You ever
It was
heard-
one of those.
You ever tried those cleanses that they do? Like what is it? Lemon, cayenne pepper, maple syrup.
Is it just the cleanses that make you shit a lot?
I don't know. I might make. It's called the Master Cleanse. I think it's got like maple syrup.
I've never bought into this whole detoxing of the body thing. It sounds like bullshit to me.
It's right up there with. I have to definitely. I'm totally a skeptic. I'm a huge skeptic about a lot of things. So I totally have to read more into it. Like,
I get that, like, pooing a lot will make you feel better, but I don't believe you're really storing, like, pounds of toxins in your body.
I don't know. I know that the detoxifiers that they had for like the feet, they were just like basically what is it, sweat pads. They soaked up the sweat, and then it turned it yellow and it made it look like it's toxic.
It's toxic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
I don't
To me, it's like the stupid Scientologists that make you hold those tubes. I remember when you did that.
I did it and I was
Yeah.
fucking with them the whole time.
It was funny. Yeah, we were in New York
It was
together.
New York. It was awesome. Yeah.
Fuck Scientology.
But that's just because they're man, they can't, man's at fault.
Yeah.
So when something is of a divine nature and you fool it, it's not because it's not because of divinity, it's because
of
of
man.
the man that was doing it.
So what the fuck's up with the new pope?
I don't know. Heard a lot of things. He's from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
But he's white as all can be.
Yep.
Like, seriously.
Mhm.
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised.
They were talking to a predominant gay Catholic
He's way
blogger.
anti-gay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a predominant gay Catholic blogger was actually talking about how they believe that the old pope might be gay. And that's one of the reasons why they kind of talked him to step down.
I don't think that he was gay. I think that he was just a fucking asshole helping cover up lots of child abuse scandals.
Might have done that too.
No, I mean, he did do that a
Yeah.
lot.
Mhm.
Fuck him.
I don't know enough
Fuck the
about
Catholic Church. Fuck every priest. Fuck all the bishops. Fuck all the cardinals. Burn them down. Take all the riches and actually feed fucking people. Stupid pieces of shit.
Amen.
Fucking hate them.
Amen.
Like, seriously. All that gold and shit and...
Fuck all religion.
God, no. Yeah, don't. It's totally true.
I mean, I don't give a shit if you believe in God, but it's to the point where I
give a shit if your belief in God
affects other
affects
people.
other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which Christianity blatantly does.
Yeah.
I've never heard a Taoist come and complain about homosexuality.
No. My favorite answer is when somebody asks me if I believe in God, I say, which God? It's fun to say.
I now usually say I just believe in one less God than you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pretty cliche answer now, I know that,
Mm.
but what else can you really say?
You can be a complete dick.
Okay,
ruin
how can-
someone's life.
How can you be vegan and really religious at the same time? Because what religion out there, unless your religion promotes veganism, like how can you be vegan and Catholic knowing that the Catholic Church in of itself institutes horrible mass murder on animals? Like, how can you believe that that is something that God would want?
I think a lot of people who are religious and vegan, they take the word of the Bible and translate it the way that they want it to be. Like when I was in, I think 7th grade, I did a debate about how Jesus is a vegetarian, and I did really well on it. And my reference.
You were a hardcore believer in 7th grade.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so, like, I had to struggle with all that stuff. And
I totally did too. I mean, that's actually what got me away from the church.
Mhm.
When I say the church, I mean the LDS Church or
LDS
Mormon Church.
yeah. And yeah, so I mean, I made a pretty valid argument that a whole bunch of stuff. Because when you look at it, the translation, when people say the original translation of the Bible, the only original translation that's left is
the closest.
The
is
closest
the Hebrew.
is the Hebrew, but that's not the original.
The original was in Aramaic.
I think it was Farsi or
No, I think it was Aramaic.
Aramaic,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
and it was lost in the fire.
Alexandria. Yeah, Fire of Alexandria.
And so, like, I don't know. You can't say that if something is translated and it says fish or flesh or whatever the hell it says, you don't know what that word actually means.
Well, it's one of the things that Mormons use to help, sell their own religion. They're like, well, we believe the Bible as far as it's translated.
As far as it's yeah. They say that.
So their whole excuse is, that's a mistranslation. Well, yeah.
I believe the Book of Mormon in the Bible as far as it's translated.
It's actually, they have what's called their Articles of Faith, which every Mormon has to pretty much memorize, right? And I think that's the 8th Article of Faith. So I think that's the only one I remember, which is, I believe the Bible. I believe the Book of Mormon to be the Word of God. We also believe the Bible to be the Word of God as far as it is translated correctly, or something like that. It's not exactly. It's been a long time since I remember those.
See, I believe in God, the Eternal Father, and His Son Jesus Christ, and in the Holy
Hold on, I'm gonna look him up on my
I
phone.
think that's the.
I want to see if you can
I think
remember.
that's the first one, and then I believe in Adam.
Oh, they don't believe in original sin.
Yeah.
I know that.
What's the Adam one? That's the second article of faith, I think. There's 13 articles of faith.
Yeah.
And the 13th one's like the longest one, and I think it pretty much like incorporates all of them.
Okay, I'm pulling him up right now
Okay.
from Mormon.org. This is actually coming from the LDS Church.
Okay.
So I'm not just totally.
You should put up the word of
putting
wisdom
the
after that.
spin of these. Okay, the first article of faith. We believe in. Oh, some ad came up. Sorry. We believe in God, the Eternal Father, and in His Son, Jesus Christ, and in the Holy Ghost.
You told them.
Number 2. We believe that men will be punished for their own sins and not for Adam's transgression.
There we go.
Number 3. We believe that through the atonement of Christ, all mankind may be saved by obedience to the laws and ordinances of the gospel. Number 4. We believe that the first principles and ordinances of the gospel are, first, faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. Second, repentance. Third, baptism by immersion for the remission of sins. How many sins do you have when you're 8? Fourth, laying on the hands for the gift of the Holy Ghost.
Well, it's even worse when you're Catholic. You baptized at birth.
Yeah. Well, that's get rid of Adam's sin.
You're born into sin.
You're born into sin. We believe that 5. We believe that man must be called of God by prophecy and by the laying on of hands by those who are in authority to preach the gospel and minister in the ordinances of thereof. That's how they get their modern day prophet. We believe in the same 6. We believe in the same organization that existed in the primitive church, namely apostles, prophets, pastors, teachers, evangelists, and so forth. I don't remember that
I
one.
don't know that one either.
7. We believe in the gift of tongues, prophecy, revelation, visions, healings, interpretation of tongues, and so forth. What is so forth?
I don't know. I just take that as their parcel tongue, which is they can talk to snakes.
Yeah. Number 8. We believe the Bible to be the Word of God as far as it was translated correctly. We also believe the Book of Mormon to be the Word of God. I had that transposed. Number 9. We believe all that God has revealed, all that He does now reveal, and we believe that He will yet reveal many great and important things pertaining to the kingdom of God. 10. These are going on forever. We believe in the literal gathering of Israel and in the restoration of the 10 tribes that Zion, the New Jerusalem, in quotations, will be built upon the American continent, that Christ will reign personally upon the earth, and that the earth will be renewed and receive its paradisical glory. So they're basically saying that, sorry, Jews, we're going to reinstitute Israel in America. 11. We claim the privilege of worshiping Almighty God according to the dictates of our own conscience, and allow all men the same privilege. Let them worship how, where, or what they may. And that one is a bunch of horse shit. They're all a bunch of horse shit, but that one's really bad. 12. We believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, and magistrates, in obeying and honoring and sustaining the law. Hold on. We believe in being subject to kings?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
The king of God? I don't know.
No.
But they're talking about how, I know that
they're really big on you have to follow the law of the land.
you follow the law of the land after God's law.
After that. 13. We believe in being honest, true, chaste, benevolent, virtuous, and in doing good to all men. Indeed, we may say that we follow the...
This is the last one, don't worry.
Yeah. We believe all things, we hope all things, we have endured many things, and hope to be able to endure all things. If there is anything virtuous, lovely, or of good rapport, or praiseworthy, we seek after these things.
In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
It doesn't say that here, but yeah, that's pretty much true. God, that's such... It just drives me fucking insane.
I love their word of wisdom. That's my favorite one.
Oh yeah, you wanted to hear the word of wisdom? I used to fight so hard with the word of wisdom.
All the time over the word of wisdom.
Trying to prove that the word of wisdom wants you to be,
finally,
if not vegan, at least
vegetarian,
very close to veganism at all times. Right?
And and my bishop finally pulled something out. It was something a prophet wrote a long time ago.
Is it about men not being guided in all things?
No, he actually.
That's what mine did to me.
Well, they the one that's very common is the one that the Quaker one. You know, the one where.
Oh, DNC 4918.
Yeah, but the ones that he pulled something out for me that was written by a prophet that said that people who choose to abstain from meat are
Not ordained of God.
no, not ordinary.
That's what DNC,
that's what the DNC.
DNC 4918 says. People who refuse to abstain.
Mhm.
It's people who forbid to abstain. People who refuse to abstain from eating meat are not of God. Basically, I read that as if you eat meat, you're not
if you
of
eat
God.
meat, yeah. But no, what they were saying in this one was that that God looks pleasantly upon you.
Well, the Word of Wisdom basically says that.
Huh.
The Word of Wisdom
Yeah.
basically says that.
And so it's like, he's like, so it's not. I mean, you don't have to do it, but you know, God
likes it.
God likes it.
You're a bishop. Shouldn't you be doing things as God like, you stupid fuck? Oh, sorry, I
God
just hit
likes
my
to
knee.
suck my dick.
I got in so much trouble once because I actually said, like, who would you like? You know, I'm like, you know who would give the best blowjobs in the world? Like who? I'm like, Jesus. They're like, what? I'm like, Jesus, man, he's fucking the Son of God. He knows your body. He'll make it feel good. I got in a lot of trouble for that. Still believe that. Like,
Who'd you tell that to?
it was my precinct class. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it definitely happens. Hold on 1 second. Okay, you guys want to get really bored for a second? I got the Word of Wisdom here.
Sorry. Go.
Should we read the Word of Wisdom?
Just fast.
Okay. This is straight from Mormon doctrine. And if people don't know, the Word of Wisdom is a doctrine that they believe that basically how you should live your life, your diet, and everything else in order to receive the full benefits of the gospel, of the kingdom of God or whatever. It's not like you'll go to hell or be condemned if you don't follow it. You just don't receive all of the glories, basically what they believe. So I'll try to go through this really quick and not insert my own commentary. A word of wisdom for the benefit of the council of high priests assembled in Kirtland Church, also the saints of Zion. To be sent greetings not by commandment or constraint, but by the revelation of the word of wisdom, showing forth the order and will of God in the temporal salvation of all saints in the last days. Given for a principle with promise, adaptation to the capacity of the weak and the weakest of all saints, who are or can be called saints. Behold, verily, thus saith the Lord unto you, in consciousness of evils and design, which do and will exist in the hearts of conspiring men in the last days, I have warned you and forewarned you by giving unto you this word of wisdom or revelation, that inasmuch as any man drinketh wine or strong drink among you, behold, it is not good, neither meet in the sight of your Father, only in assembling yourselves together to offer up your sacraments before him. And behold, this should be wine, yea, pure wine of the grape, and of the vine, of your own make. And again, strong drinks are not for the belly, but for the washing of your bodies. And again, tobacco is not for the body, neither for the belly, and is not good for man, but is an herb for bruises and all sick cattle, to be used with judgment and skill. And again, hot drinks are not for the body or belly. And again, verily I say unto you, all wholesome herbs God hath ordained for the constitution, nature, and use of man. Every herb in the season thereof, and every fruit in the season thereof, all these to be used with prudence and thanksgiving. Yea, flesh also of beasts and of the fowls of the air, I, the Lord, have ordained for the use of man with thanksgiving. Nevertheless, they are to be used sparingly. And it is pleasing unto me that they should not be used but only in times of winter or cold of famine. All grain is ordained for the use of man and of beast, to be the staff of life, not only for man, but for the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven, and all wild animals that run or creep on the earth. And these hath God made for the use of man only in times of famine and excess of hunger. All grain is good for the food of man, as also the fruit of the vine, that which yieldeth fruit, whether in the ground or above the ground. Nevertheless, wheat for man, and corn for the ox, and oats for the horse, and rye for the fowls and for swine, for all beasts of the field, and barley for barley for all useful animals, and for mild drinks, also other grain. And all saints remember to keep and do these sayings, walking in obedience to the commandment, shall receive health in their navel and marrow to their bones, and shall find wisdom and great treasures of knowledge, even hidden treasures, and shall run and not be weary, and shall walk and not faint. And I, the Lord, give unto them a promise, that the destroying angel shall pass by them, and the children of Israel not slay them. Amen.
God, that's so fucking boring.
It really is fucking boring. But there's some huge things in there, like they talk about,
Yeah.
which, fuck.
I think it just sounds like a lunatic writing, to be honest.
It really does. Like, I got really sick and tired of arguing veganism to Mormons. Like, your word of wisdom, it's saying right there, you should only eat it in times of winter and famine, that grain should be the staff, and that it's,
But to me, it sounds like a guy who is trying to sound like King James Version of the Bible. He's writing things, and he sounds like a nut, in my opinion. And whoso forbiddeth to abstain from the blah, 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 blah. It's like...
It does. It sounds like fucking horseshit.
And a lot of it is actually just the King James Bible, not the Doctrine and Covenants, but the actual Book of Mormon itself is like King James Bible rewritten.
Yeah, retelling of the stories.
Yeah, retelling of the stories. It's weird. And yeah.
I don't know why it took me until my late teenage years to really question it.
Me either.
Like, I feel like a fucking idiot sometimes thinking about it. Because, like I said, I was vegan before I came away from the church. And veganism was like, if you're telling me it's okay to kill an animal, you're fucking wrong.
Mm.
And
that's the worst part is that, so the whole famine and times of hunger shit, they have barbecues during the summer all the time.
Or not even that, just sparingly. Like,
yeah, sparingly is not even...
It says it should be used sparingly. What the fuck does sparingly mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean every...
One of my
fucking meal.
bishops told me that the reason why they can eat meat now is because back then they didn't have refrigerators, and so that was why that was written, because if you ate meat in the summer, then it could be bad.
Does he not know anything about curing meat and how they cured it and how it lasted for a long time without refrigeration?
That was the only thing, that was probably the best excuse I've ever heard, even though it's not a good one.
Fucking idiot.
Yep.
Fucking idiot.
So that's that.
That is that.
God, I feel like shit.
Yeah, so have you tried any homeopathic medicine?
Fuck homeopathic
I got
shit.
some water. I can tell you it's
Got
homeopathic.
some water. You want to dilute some
If you believe in homeopathic
cyanide.
medicine, wouldn't like normal municipal tap water be like the most powerful shit in the world because it's had everything in it and distilled through it to the nth degree? So shouldn't like the memory of the water be like fucking powerful to you? Think about it, right?
It should.
Fucking
But
municipal water.
it probably wasn't shaken the right way. You have to shake it back and forth. And scientists.
Do they really care how it shakes?
I think so. I think it's weird shit.
Fucking
like that.
idiots. And I want to be clear, when we're talking about homeopathic...
We're not talking herbal.
We're not talking herbal. We're pure homeopathy.
I would love to get somebody like James Randi on from the James Randi Educational Foundation. He's probably one of the coolest motherfuckers in the world. He's, I don't know. He's an old magician. He used to be called the Amazing Randy. He's been working to fight. He's like one of the best known skeptics in the world. And he's been fighting homeopathic medicine for a while now. His first fights were against like self-proclaimed psychics and stuff like that. But he's pretty much just I wouldn't say debunker because he looks at it from a scientific point. If somebody can prove to him that it actually is real, then he'll accept that. But so just a skeptic. He's awesome.
Yeah. So this right here is talking about what homeopathy actually is.
Uh-huh.
The belief of homeopathy is like cures like. That is, if a substance causes a symptom in a healthy person, giving a person a very small amount of the same substance may cure the illness.
Which is ridiculous.
But they give you such an insignificant amount, it's literally untraceable.
Well, there's something called, I can't remember what the name of it is, but once you dilute to a certain point, you
lose all molecules of the actual product.
Yeah.
And so it would be the equivalent of putting a grain of rice in water the size of the fucking solar system. Like, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
And so, like, for example, you give caffeine to a normal person, it's going to keep that person awake. So somebody who's having problems going to bed because they're normally awake all the time, what they would do in homeopathy would be to take caffeine and dilute it and give it to you, because that will put you to sleep somehow.
Yay!
And that's their logic. That absolutely, it baffles me people believe it. And then there's also,
What pisses me off even more is that this shit is being sold
as a medicine.
as medicine by people who should be responsible, like pharmacies and doctors, and they do it just because they can make a fucking profit off of it.
Well, there's wackos like Dr. Oz who believe that things like aura cleansing and even homeopathy work.
Dr. Oz believes in homeopathic medicine?
Yes. Dr. Oz will have someone come in and cleanse aura before he performs surgery. And that's no touching. That's aura cleansing. At least from my understanding. I could be wrong, but that's what I know about him.
Really?
Yeah, he's very into that. Wouldn't surprise me if he had psychics on too.
I want a psychic to come on. I want a psychic reading.
I'll give you a cold reading right now.
Do a cold reading. Oh my god, that's so right.
I'd have to say that you're a person. I mean, you have friends, but you only have maybe like one or two close friends,
Yeah.
and you consider other people maybe acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and on the inside you're introverted. On the outside you might be extroverted.
That totally describes me. How would you know that?
You know,
Is it the spirit world?
And, I'm getting a name. Do you know anybody?
My brother, Jason.
Jason, yeah. Jason's
Yeah.
totally coming to mind right now. And he is he's a you said brother?
Brother, yeah,
Okay.
brother.
And he would be a younger brother?
No, he's an older brother.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Older brother. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking younger. You're the younger one.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh my god, he's so right. He called my brother. He knew his name.
I love it. I fucking love it.
The best are in the groups of people. I totally want to do a cold reading in a group of a bunch of people, and then after it's done, just be like, you're all fucking dumb. Because what they do a lot of times is shotgun. They'll be like, I'm getting a name, J, Jason, there's a Jason in here. And then somebody will say, well, I know a Jason.
I know it, Jason.
And then, but if they get something wrong, they just keep shotgunning. They'll say maybe like 78
Yeah,
names.
it's ridiculous.
And then people will recognize 13, but they forget the other. I don't know. I'm a damn skeptic of most things.
So, whenever I saw this week's poll, I always had the little limerick come to mind. Beans, magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot.
Yeah.
Whenever I say that to my daughter, she gets pissed.
I get pissed too.
You get, fuck you. I love beans. Like,
I love beans too.
I eat probably way too many beans. I eat way more beans than anyone probably should, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And we had a decent amount of responses to this one.
Yeah.
23% of you said you like black beans the most.
I'd have to agree.
I have to agree with that also.
But then again, the 20% say chickpeas, and I also agree with that.
Yeah, I love chickpeas. I fucking
Chickpeas
love
are
chickpeas.
delicious.
But this is a surprising one to me. 15% said lima beans.
Yeah, that's weird.
I fucking love lima beans.
Uh-huh.
They're probably in my top 3, 4 of beans. Where were we? Beans.
We're talking
Lima
about
beans.
Yeah, lima beans.
I love lima beans, man.
They're good. I like all beans pretty much. But yeah, I'd have to agree. Black beans and chickpeas are definitely amongst my favorite.
You know what I do all the time is I'll take a can of black beans and a can of Rotel and just mix them together.
Okay.
Take it, I drain the black beans, but I don't drain the Rotel.
Mm-hmm.
Use the Rotel as a liquid to cook them in until it gets like down to like a paste, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling really adventurous, I'll cut up a carrot and throw it in there. It's like a fucking stew or like a chili,
Yeah.
but really ghetto and easy. It's great for like dipping chips in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you guys know how ghetto I cook for myself when
Well,
I don't have to cook for
I'll
anyone.
take a can of. I'll do the same. I'll take a can of chickpeas and just throw it in a food processor with veggies and a pickle
Ooh, I always just use pure relish. I don't ever use a pickle.
or whatever.
Yeah. A little bit of an onion in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
always put a little
salt,
mustard.
pepper, mustard.
It's fucking good.
Yeah.
It's good on a sandwich. It's good like as a chip dip.
It's delicious.
Oh, it's so amazing.
And what else we got here? We have. So that was lima beans is 15%. Then we have.
I love chickpea curry too.
That's so good.
Dude, now you got me thinking about all these things.
They're delicious.
Mmm.
We got 9% on both pinto and other.
I'm not a pinto
kidney
fan.
beans, too.
Totally not a pinto fan.
I'm okay with pinto and
Yeah, somebody under other wrote lentils,
Yeah.
and I'm not really certain, but I don't think lentils are beans. They're
All of them.
What are lentils if they're
I
not
don't know.
beans?
I would agree. Lentils are delicious, though.
Yeah, I love lentils.
So we put baked beans, too.
Um,
Lentils are.
a pulse / bean? What's a pulse? Oh, it's a legume. It's in the legume family.
Okay.
That's why. Okay.
Legumes are delicious as well.
Yeah, I like legumes.
Give it up for the legumes.
I love boiled peanuts. A lot of people don't realize peanuts are legumes. Love peanuts. Boiled, though. Love boiled peanuts.
They're deli.
If you haven't had boiled peanuts, you're fucking missing out. If you ever see boiled peanuts, like at a fair or farmer's market or something like that, immediately stop and buy some.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hate them, I will reimburse you the money by punching you in the face. Because they're amazing. Love boiled peanuts. If you can find them like Cajun boiled peanuts, call me immediately because I will go wherever you're at to get some.
One of my old cellies, he was from the South, and he talked about how he always talked about awesome stuff that they ate. They eat pretty vegan, actually. Like, obviously,
Well, it's a lot of poor. Let's be honest. It's really poor cooking.
and that's their own farming is what they do. Is they
Yeah,
pick their okra and everything else, and they
God, I
eat
love
really
okra.
healthy.
We talked about that with the Progressive Kitsch girls.
Yeah, okra's good. But the boiled peanuts, he says that that's something that they do all the time, and they just get a big old pot, put it in the back of sometimes they put it in the back of a truck, and they go down to like the.
And they sell it out of the back of the truck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
I was really stoked about 2 years ago. Somebody at the downtown farmers market here started selling boiled peanuts, and I was totally blown away. Like, it's the only reason I actually go to the downtown farmers market because it's so far from my house, and it's more about all art and shit now than actual farm food. That I don't like going there except for the boiled peanuts. Yeah.
It's pretty easy to do, but you just have to boil the shit out of them.
Speaking of farmers markets, there's a grocery store over here that they're moving locations, and the new location's a lot bigger. They're doing it. The extra space is giving it to local farmers to sell their own produce out of.
Oh, awesome.
To have a farmers market all year long with whichever produce they have fresh.
Sweet.
Fucking awesome is
That's
that?
way cool.
Yeah. Now if they'd only be open on Sundays, you douchebag.
So we got black-eyed peas.
I've never had black-eyed peas.
Navy beans.
When have I had navy beans?
Navy bean, I think those are both pretty similar. They kind of have like a weird, like a sauce to them, don't they?
Mm.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're putting a sauce. When I've had them, they've always been like kind of remind me more like of a baked bean, but not this, like, you know, other kind of baked beans are kind of in a sauce. What do we got? Cannellini? What it?
I don't even know what those are.
Cannellini. Somebody likes them.
Yeah.
One person.
Way to go, somebody.
And then we got Great Northern beans. Those are the ones I might be thinking of.
If you guys pick some of these, send me some of your recipes. I absolutely love beans.
try them out.
Yeah, totally. To give you an idea of how crazy you are with beans, we buy them by the case, either in can or more infrequently dried, because I'm lazy. But like, I'll buy a case of like 24 black beans, a case of 24 chickpeas, a case of 24, pinto beans, a case of like, we buy that shit by the case.
I have a whole bunch of bags downstairs of beans. I don't use dried beans too often.
I don't have a pressure cooker, and I just am too lazy.
It takes a second just to soak them overnight.
Yeah, I just don't ever do it.
It's like you have to plan your meals ahead if you want to do that, and that's what sucks about it.
Yeah, like I'm not a fucking adult.
Nor am I.
Which is funny, because I really do plan and cook most of the meals here. We got notified about that earlier.
Usually,
we were at the grocery store earlier, and Kai was like, "What are we having for dinner?" I'm like, "I'm fucking tired of picking dinner every goddamn night and having to cook it." She's like, "But you're better at it." I'm like, "Fuck."
I brought dessert over today.
You did bring dessert over today. I'm super stoked.
I'm super stoked too.
Speaking of that, I'm still pissed. That again, Tofuti is another one of those companies that's not vegan.
No, not all the way.
God,
They have cheese products.
like, I just want. Is it so hard, so bad, that a company that completely main focus is vegans to be vegan? Like, I get not marketing all the way towards vegans and marketing towards that middle ground.
Yeah.
But fucking be vegan.
Well, that's companies like.
Like, I'm gonna be honest.
Mhm.
That change. I prefer Follow Your Heart cheese over Daiya cheese.
Yeah.
Daiya, as far as I know, is a vegan company.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's they're distributors and everything else, blah blah. But as a Canadian company, they only make vegan products.
Yeah.
I will switch to a company like Daiya over Follow Your Heart, even though I like their products better.
Mm-hmm.
I won't stop using Vegenaise though. Sorry, Nananaise is nasty shit.
Yeah, it is. I tried making some.
But I heard Daiya's coming out with one, or somebody else's. Chicago Soy Dairy, maybe it is.
I know that Earth Balance came out with one.
Was it Earth Balance?
I haven't tried theirs yet. They already have it out. I haven't tried that yet though. People say they like it. I don't know. I tried making a cream cheese the other day. I didn't do the cashew. I should do a cashew cream cheese, but I did a tofu cream cheese.
And don't get me wrong,
for a
like,
day.
I buy shit from non-vegan companies. I'm not saying we shouldn't. But if I have a choice, and they're both comparable, I'm going to go with a vegan company.
Yeah.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
I know my soy milk I buy is not from a vegan company. It's just the way it is.
Is any soy milk from a vegan company?
In the little bit of research I've done, there was one that was just in the East Coast that only distributed, like, in 3 states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah, so to my knowledge, no. No, they're all owned or partially owned by corporations or other dairy firms or dairies.
But that's the thing, like, I'm going to buy Tom's of Maine even though they're owned by Colgate because what else?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that they're not tested on animals. The product I'm buying isn't. The company that actually owns them might test on animals.
I've used Tom's of Maine toothpaste
hard.
for like the last 13 years straight. I'm just, it's one of those things I'm so used to now. Their deodorant sucks balls, though.
No deodorant really works for me.
Damn it. Have you ever tried that Crystal deodorant? I tried that when I was like 17. I'm like, this is awesome. It would be so cool if it worked. It fucking doesn't work. If you see somebody buying Crystal deodorant, they're a hippie and punch them in the face.
Remember that Craigslist ad I put out?
Which one? To go on a date or something?
Yeah, to go on the date to Dark Knight.
Yes.
That was so fucked
Oh
up.
God, I can't believe we talked you into doing that.
It was terrible. I got responses back. You're a shallow pig.
Did you really get responses back
Yeah.
to that? What did you write? I just remember it being like, you must be vegan, have to shave your fucking armpits.
I was just being funny.
It was such a total asshole.
It wasn't like I was
purposeful
being,
asshole.
I wasn't being
Yeah.
serious at all.
It was
But
funny.
I was trying to. I had an extra ticket to A Dark Knight.
And we were trying to get you to take a date.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know, who the fuck am I going to take? We're like, post a Craigslist ad.
And so I posted a Craigslist ad, but I was an ass about it. I said, must be vegan. And if you're. I said something like.
Can't smell like patchouli.
Yeah,
I remember
said it's okay if you do drum circles, but.
You have to shave your armpits.
Yeah, don't use a fucking crystal under your arm. No hippies need to apply. I don't know. I was just a dick about it.
You were like 17 or something?
Yeah, I was a tiny kid too.
God, I can't believe we actually got you to do that.
It was funny.
It was funny.
You shallow pig. That was the best response.
Shallow pig. I mean, it was bad. I remember. It was
It was bad. I
bad.
could probably find it somewhere. I probably
Oh.
saved a screenshot of it. And it had like for pictures I put like no hippies. A whole bunch of the stuff.
You put a bunch of pictures on there, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
No one really found it amusing. Some of my friends laughed, but
I found it amusing.
like I went to an anarchist collective and some people saw it and they're like, well, what's wrong with hippies? And they wanted to have like discussion with me, like I was actually serious about things I said.
Oh, God. What's
So-
wrong with hippies?
It's like
That's
that's an
we should,
insult.
okay, I want to be very clear. I have friends who are really big hippies.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, went to brunch with some today. But if you're gonna be a fucking hippie, expect to be made fun of. Just like if you're vegan, expect people to jive you, to jab at you a little bit for being vegan if they're not vegan. It's just the way it is,
Mhm. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Fucking hippies. I mean, come on.
I had a large debate about anarchist economics the other day.
What about?
Um,
What were they arguing? They weren't arguing for market economics, were they? Were they arguing for mutualism?
they were actually arguing for a couple of things. They would probably be libertarian socialist, maybe more so than.
How can you be libertarian and socialist? So they're going for market anarchism.
A little bit. And they talked about free market, but free market actually being a market that's free instead of protected by by the government.
So what
The
is the
state.
actual monetary terms in the market?
I didn't get to that point. I think we were getting to the point we were talking about incentives and about
Were they arguing that you needed monetary incentives?
no, they're saying you don't need monetary incentives. And I was trying to explain
Who?
what could we
Will you tell me who?
yeah,
I'd love to have a conversation with them.
you know who it is.
JF?
No. ST. Same place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really? He was arguing that?
Yeah. No, I mean he had a good argument, to be honest. He made me question something like, should we all come together and not point fingers and not obviously we're gonna have differences with different people, and you know how we have tent anarchists or whatever you want to call it, where you have different people living in different places
Yeah.
with different ideas.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the only way I can think of anarchy is working realistically.
I don't think the communities have to be separate from each other. I think they have to be local, organized locally. They can
Yeah.
butt up right next to each other, just like neighborhoods do, just like
No,
cities do.
of course, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you have politics that you agree with more, so you can go to a certain, community, or whatever the case may be.
I mean, that's pretty much what our states are. It's just,
Yeah,
it's just putting that on a more
and then
on a scale that's workable for the average person.
and then having maybe the collective would still be a collective,
Yeah.
all of them together, but they have different thoughts. And so if somebody wants to do anarcho-capitalism,
somebody wants to do fucking free market anarchism or whatever the case people want to be.
Aren't those the same things?
Yeah, whatever. But if they wanted to, I would say, from what he says no, because he was trying to explain that to me. That's what I was asking him. But he was arguing that should we all just get together and just work on overthrowing the state and that being our common goal, as opposed to nitpicking what type of anarchy or what kind of other thing.
I disagree with him on that, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's important for people of like-mindedness to work together towards a common goal, but the problem is if you're working towards a common goal of overthrowing the state, like that common goal would be, you have to have something in place to replace the state. Maybe not immediately, but at least the framework for that.
And that's a big thing, because most people, once something's overthrown, and that's why I talk about like crime things.
All people, the average person, all they really want is safety and security.
Mhm.
They want security in their food, security in their home, and security in their livelihood.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people
And
want.
once our common goals are met, then we're good.
So if you overthrow the state and you eliminate, the security in food and the security in their home, you don't have the people anymore. So you can't just overthrow the state and be like, there's no economic system anymore, without actually rebuilding and having something in place to give people what they need.
And that's what the different places
So
would be.
I totally believe you do need a nitpick, and you do have to figure out at least how to provide in the interim until the society decides to work for itself. Like, it's very important. It's extremely important, especially on the scale that we're talking about. It's not like, you're talking about, 20,000 people. You're in the United States, you're talking, 300 plus million people that all of a sudden, boom, they don't have economic security
And
anymore.
the second that the state comes around with free bread or free shelter,
That's what they're going with.
They're going with that.
And you can't blame them.
No, you can't.
I mean, you can't blame somebody who doesn't, like, say you overthrow the state, right?
Mhm.
And now, since the state doesn't exist anymore, how many people were employed by the state? Where is their monetary system going to come from? Where are they going to get food from? Where are they going to get this from? How are they going to maintain their livelihood? How are they going to get electricity? How are they going to get power? Well, the same thing. How are they going to get water? Who's going to pick up their trash? Where are they going to actually get their food from? They have there's nothing there anymore. That something has to be put in place for people to feel comfortable. Because only other thing that will happen is that somebody else will come in and be like, this is why we need communism. This is why we need, this is why the state should provide for you. And we are, the Marxist, and we're going to provide you food, and we're going to provide you, make sure you have your housing, and no one can take that away from you because, we don't believe in the class system or whatever. They're going to go with that. You can't blame them for that. They need food and they need shelter.
No, totally. And when we were talking about incentives and whether or not we'd be able to progress with innovation and what have you, he argued we would be able to after all of our common needs were met, and it would be a matter of people.
I do see the argument that
Without a monetary incentive.
I do see the argument that a lot of innovation was created without the idea of monetary incentives.
Mhm.
I do believe that, strongly believe that, because a lot of ideas were brought up and there was no actual money made. Like Tesla, for instance. Tesla died a poor man, but fucking brilliant genius, brought a ton to us. Maybe he had monetary incentives, I don't know, but he died extremely poor. Lots of people die extremely poor, and they do things without the idea of monetary incentives. Steve Wozniak, he didn't build the first Apple computer as a monetary incentive. He built the first Apple computer to show off to his friends. He wanted to give it away for free. It was until the capitalist Steve Jobs said, no, let's make money at this.
Yeah.
So, I believe that a lot of innovation isn't monetary, but I don't believe that innovation can be sustained without that monetary incentive. At least that's how people view it right now. And if it's not monetary incentive, it has to be some other form of incentive, whether that's making life easier or making a job easier or saving on time or
He brought up open source as an example.
Even the incentive could be bragging rights, friends incentive to
Mhm.
get you a higher social class within your friend group. But those are all incentives still.
Mhm.
But
Instead of having a good quality product.
yeah.
He talked about open source as
But
being
open
an
source is a
example of-
huge incentive for monetary. The whole open source thrives right now on monetary incentives because people will take that open source where they can change it and then they can redo it. Firefox is considered open source, right? Are you telling me Firefox isn't making money?
Well, they're definitely making money.
Yeah, the incentive is a monetary incentive there still.
I think there's some open source products that aren't monetary and it's strictly.
No, I completely agree, but you can't look at that and say that there's no monetary incentive there.
I think the way that I see it is that it's something that we can't quite comprehend right now, but I think that it's plausible that if think about it in a let's just break it down into, say, there's a board on the wall that's a project that people are working on, and everybody slowly adds to that project or changes parts of that project in the community.
That's
And
what a society technically is in
Yeah.
general.
I mean,
If you really look at it that way.
But I'm talking about like something that whatever, like you're working on a new way to, I don't know, fucking mow the lawn. I don't give a shit. But not that there would be
Why are you having monocultures in your yard? you
Yeah,
stupid
exactly. That's what I knew that you would bring that up. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's something that everyone's working on, and I think it might be a slower progression, possibly, but at the same time, there is a progression.
It is.
I think people will add to it.
Well, let me. I'm not going to say whether or not a true anarchist society would bring slower progression or faster progression or whatnot. I think that's secondary to the idea that people should be free.
Yeah, no, totally, and I think that that's what people want. Another thing that was brought up was the fact that almost everyone in the world wants to work for themselves, and
Hell is all that noise?
is he stomping?
Again, Kickstarter. Make sure we don't have to have this problem.
Totally. I think everybody in the world wants to work for themselves. It's a feeling of being free, feeling of not
Well, it's the idea that you're not getting your labor stolen from you.
exactly.
That you're actually going to reap the benefits of your own labor.
And so, if we all want this common thing, why the fuck are we not? Like, even capitalists, they want the same damn thing.
Well,
they want to work for themselves.
The reason is because in order for capitalists to really do that, they need somebody to do the work for them, right? So they need to hold people down and make it so impossible for them to achieve their dreams, because otherwise they can't achieve theirs, because they're building upon somebody else.
It's funny.
That's the whole idea of it.
That's why capitalism's a little flawed.
It's not a little flawed; it's majorly flawed.
I know.
But the hard thing is that like we don't live in a pure capitalist society. We live in that weird in between where they can change and do things. So like when a society actually stands up and starts saying this is wrong, they put a Band-Aid on it and they make quasi appease those people on that one issue. And it's like this weird breed of capitalism where it's not pure capitalism in that free market sense, and it's not pure socialism in that state-owned sense. It's that weird mix between that allows society to be pacified. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
At least it allows a large enough portion of society to be pacified. But I don't dare say everyone's pacified. But this brings me back to that book, Debt, the first 5,000 years. It's taught me so much and made me look at it in a totally different way. Before the state had an actual monetary system, which is relatively new when you think about it. Like, even in the United States, it wasn't that long ago that the state was not in charge of the monetary system at all. So you don't even have to go that far back in history before you take the state out of monetary systems. And I believe that monetary systems in general create hierarchy and create classes and everything else. I don't believe that you have to have a complete elimination to have a free society. I think there will always be some form of commerce between people.
Mhm.
That's the simple.
Whether it be anything from bartering to
Well, one of the things that I found out in debt is that bartering never really happened.
never really worked.
Well, it never really happened.
No.
They always used some form of monetary system. It was never like, I make shoes, you make tables, I give you shoes, I give you. It was never existed, and that's one of the things that that economists like to point out. They're like, well, this is hypothetically what would happen, and it's a lot more complex. But there was always complex markets in place, going way far back.
And I would also see that then there would be a value on each product. So you might make a table, but my shoes.
And that's exactly the thing.
I might have to give you 3 pairs of shoes
So-
in order to get one table.
And so they come up with a system that it makes it so you can get the equalness of the back and forth, and that's what it's really about. That's what the monetary system is really about. It's not about creating more money than somebody else. It's about saying, this is my work, this is your work, and our works are equal. Let's make sure we're getting equal for equal, which I'm totally cool with. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
So do you agree with currency or?
I don't believe with state-run currency, no.
Mhm.
But I believe that if a society wants to get together and they say, look, part of our social contract is that everyone needs to be working for the society to build society together, which means that everyone has like a social job, they're working in some part for society. I'm totally okay with, using things like whatever, whether it be rocks or shells or pieces of metal, which is basically what we use now, to signify their actual participation in that society. That is a way of showing that, yeah, I'm a part of the society. I am doing my social contract, so I can get food. I'm okay with that. But I also believe that people that can't fulfill that social contract also need to be taken care of by those that can. Like if for some reason you can't fulfill that, and there needs to be a system there to make sure that you're not starving. You still have a house and you still have food. I think that should all be there.
I don't think those people should just die off. Because fuck humanity.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I totally. It's one of those things. Like I believe, and I don't like the term. The social safety net. I don't like that, but I totally believe that if you want to live in an anarchist society, you have to participate in that society, unless you are unable to. That's not an unwillingness. You have to participate. That's just the way it is.
I think there's a lot of things that we that anarchists don't talk about as often, that are things that really need to be addressed. Like, what about people with illnesses that need medicine? Who's going to be providing that medicine?
I think the society should provide that. Like, that's what I mean. People that need it, society needs to be there for everyone.
Who's going to be making the medicine?
It's that weird. That's why, like, the more I look at and study it, it's a weird mix of anarchism as a political ideology, but socialism as the construct of society, like not state-controlled socialism. That's why I don't like using the term, but the society in general provides what would be considered the common good of society. So, like, roads, plumbing. That plumbing is a good thing for society in general. It helps with sanitation, helps with water. Everyone needs it. It should be something that's provided by the society for the society, and not for the benefit of anyone. You shouldn't be able to get more food because you can lay plumbing.
Yeah.
That should be, the society should get together and say, it's good for all of us to have plumbing. We should all have plumbing. Society together gets plumbing. Society wants electricity. That's a societal thing. I think medicine's the same way. It's better for the society as a whole to take care of somebody who's sick so they don't get other people sick. That's better. It's better for me to make sure my neighbor isn't have the mumps and doesn't have the flu and doesn't have the cold, because then I don't get the mumps and I don't get the cold and I don't give it to my neighbor.
If your neighbor's house is burning down,
it's beneficial for
you
to make sure it's not burning down, because then
your
my house doesn't burn down.
Fire.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing. But I don't believe those should be controlled by the state, if that makes sense. I don't believe, because that again creates the power of the state. And beforehand, these things existed in societies without the state. They would if the state crumbled tomorrow. I guarantee you, if I saw my neighbor's house burning down,
You're gonna
more
figure
than
out a
just
way.
me would try to help out.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
guarantee you, the fucking right-wing conservative Mormon across the street's gonna help out. That's what you do. That's
just what you do.
that's
with
what
society.
being a good member of society is.
Totally.
And I know that everyone would do whatever they can. I'd give them the fucking shirt off my back if I needed to. That's what society is. That's what society should be. You don't need a state for that to exist. That's just common humanity.
And I think that's why aspects of like mild socialism, I guess I wouldn't call it, like not state-run socialism.
That's what I mean. I don't want to call it socialism
Yeah.
because it's not organized and run by the state.
But
Because there is no state. Like, you have to eliminate that.
couple that with syndicalism,
Yeah.
and I think that would be the best way to possibly progress. Obviously, with an anarchist political, whatever. Were you talking about you were thinking kind of like your views on anarcho syndicalism are changing a bit? Like you were thinking there might be more.
Yeah, no. I mean, my views are constantly changing, and I think if you talk to any anarchist who says that their views aren't, I think they're either lying or they're stagnant and they need to do more education, because it's just, you have to have. If my views were 100% set and perfect, then I could create the perfect society right now, and I don't believe that. Like, I think all anarchists should be open to the idea of their ideas evolving, and I kind of got to the point of viewing anarchism really working as the idea of like what democracy is now. Like, we in the United States, like, we preach and yell and teach everyone that we live in a democracy, which we don't at all. But we hold on to those principles very closely and tightly. And I believe that if we're going to maintain a large society like we have, and maintain it as anarchists, that's kind of what it will be. They'll preach and teach and yell that we live in an anarchist society, but it really won't be an anarchist society. It'll be a society run on anarchist ideals. I mean, and that's the closest that I can see working on a large scale, like the United States is right now. And while that's not perfect, that's better than we have now.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I see, because I don't see going through my entire neighborhood, let alone my entire state, and convincing everyone that, we need to completely overthrow everything we have to do with the state. I can't go to my neighbor and say we should get rid of schools. I don't believe we should get rid of schools.
Yeah.
But that's a state-run institution. So now you have to figure out how is an anarchist society going to have schools that aren't run by the state? Well, they're funded by society. Well, isn't that in itself creating a state?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the answer to that. So I don't know. I don't see that. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to be built on a very strict ideological principle, but not hold strictly to that ideological principle. And that society should always be pushing for it and moving towards it, but never completely achieving it. That's kind of what I see being realistic. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm stupid. I don't know.
No, I think you're on the right track there. I don't know, like either something like that or something where it's completely separated and not necessarily segregated, but to the point where, like I was saying, where...
What do you mean by separated?
Different people have different opinions, and so those like-minded people go
So
to...
let me ask you this. By that same ideological thinking, you would have to take that to the horrible, to that nth degree.
You'd have to... I mean, in what point does that become like dictating? Like, who's... Well, you can't be in our society because you don't have our same views.
Well, but that means you would have to accept societies that you completely disagree with. And you'd have to acknowledge that eventually those would happen and those would be created. And so, are you okay with a society saying, I'm okay with a king?
if that's what everyone in that area they want to elect a king, then if that's
Elect.
or whatever, if people in a certain area want that, they should still be able to leave if they don't
Okay,
want that. Though.
but then
That's the
what
problem.
about their children? Those children don't get to choose that, and now they're living under a monarchy. So you have like my whole thing is that like if you're really going to accept that each little group can be completely autonomous,
Mhm.
you have to accept that each group can be autonomous in a way that you disagree with.
Mhm.
You know, what if one wants to be strictly religious and they want to be a theocracy? Are you okay with that? What if that part of that theocracy is degrading towards a certain women or homosexuals or whatever? You know, are you okay with
I don't
that?
think I'm not okay with it, but I don't think that you can necessarily change someone's thoughts on something if the people within that society. It kind of gets into weird territory where obviously
But that goes to the point. Children can't leave.
Yeah, children can't leave. Also,
So what if it was? What if it was a
victims-
society like an extreme theocracy that believed that if you came out as being gay, you can be stoned? So now they're being to death penalty. We're not even going like out of the realm of possibility. This is shit that happens now.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to imagine that it would happen if you allowed people to be completely autonomous.
Yeah.
Right. Would
But
you
who's
allow
gonna be-
that? Are
who's
you
gonna-
okay with that?
I mean, how?
I mean, I'm not okay with it.
I'm not okay with it, but when you say would I allow it, it's not like I'm the one that's dictating it. Like,
Would you be say want to go in and change that and try to overthrow that and make sure that didn't happen? Because now then you're taking away the autonomy of that society to run themselves.
it's true, and it's a tricky thing.
So if you believe in
I think-
complete autonomy, you have to believe in autonomy for things you hate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
I
the
think,
way it is.
I think to a point that I think there's going to be some sort of compromises that you're going to have to deal with, but when those compromises start involving the rights of people, then I think that's an issue that needs to be stopped and addressed.
But that doesn't give a society complete autonomy that you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
So then how do you deal with that? Do you deal with that with the military? Do you deal with that with the police force? Do you deal with that with the militia?
Democratically, where most of the society is against it? It's not.
So then you're dealing with
consensus.
democratically, which means
Yeah,
you're
I know.
still going to be...
I know. I'm saying like, how do you deal with it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
There's just answers that we don't have,
totally.
but they should be discussed.
And that's my hard thing with allowing complete autonomy also. Like, that's why I view more of the idea of, every society being built on anarchist principles and then giving autonomy within those anarchist principles. Which mean like, hey, if you're going to live in this geographical area that we've designated to living on these anarchist principles, you can't, look down upon women, you can't give them equal rights, and you can't, stone somebody for being gay, you can't stone somebody for having red hair, or whatever it may be. But that is creating a state by doing that.
Mhm.
It's that weird,
And I don't find fault in that.
and in living in a world where it's not an anarchist world, I also think that there has to be some form of organizational body for defense.
Of course.
Not for offense, completely for defense. Because, I hate to say it, if you live in a society where everyone has complete freedom, somebody else who doesn't is going to might try to take advantage of that freedom and try to come in and be like, you can't fucking stop me because I'm a dictator and I have a military and I want your fucking oil, or I want your natural gas, or I want your iron, or I want whatever the fuck you have, or I want cheap labor, or so how do you stop against that? It's not like the world's going to change all at once.
Yeah. No, you definitely need a defense set up.
So, so the idea of a complete abolition of the state, I think, can only happen on a world scale. A complete abolition. Otherwise, I think it'll be that weird, hybrid.
Do you believe in complete consensus?
I believe in it, yes. Do I think it would work? I don't know. I've seen it work in very large settings.
I think right now in the Occupy movement, especially Occupy Wall Street, there's a large debate of whether or not to continue using consensus. And I think Occupy is going to start doing a lot of May Day activities. And so that's what the issue's coming up is, should we continue using consensus, or should we adopt a pseudo consensus, a partial consensus, or should we adopt a democratic voting system?
Yeah, one of the things that I this is something that I thought of completely on my own, and maybe I stole it from somebody, I don't know. But in thinking about how to make society like that work, one of the things I was thinking of is that in order to make a real society like that work, you have to make sure people are involved in society, that they have to be involved in the process. And I thought the best way to make people involved in the process is to give them incentives on a societal basis to make them involved. Meaning, like, I don't know so much, but like, hey, if you are a part of the process of governance, you can either, if you come in to vote, or if you come in to, talk about your issues, if you come in to voice your concerns, if you just come to the meetings, you will then be, incentivized either on a monetary or non-monetary basis, whether that's being paid either like a form of currency or, making it so you don't have to do trash duty or whatever, your job in society is. So it incentivizes being a part of that society. And then whoever chooses to be a part of that society, it's already incentivized to allow people to be there, so that, you could literally live by only being a part of society. And then maybe using that on a consensus basis. So, if you really don't give a shit about, an issue, you don't show up, you don't get the incentive for showing up, but then you're accepting whatever happens. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, but when you think most people would want to just show up?
Do I think most people want to show up? No, I don't. I think most people are really complacent.
If you're giving an incentive to either go and have your life be voting and governance, or to work, do you think most people would want to go and vote?
I don't think the incentive should be enough that you could only vote,
Okay.
but I think there should be an incentive.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I don't think that on most issues people would show up. Like,
I don't think that incentive should be large enough to live off of.
No, I don't know. This is just something that I thought about. And it's not like a formalized thought that I've really, really delved in deep and tried to iron out.
You get an orange for voting.
But I mean, I think there needs to be something involved to get people there, but doesn't mean they have to be there for everything. I think that's the problem with Occupy. I think a lot of the people refuse to acknowledge that they don't need to have a say in everything. Like, you really don't.
No.
You can and you should be able to, don't get me wrong. But,
like, for example, I'm in school and I don't give two shits who's on student body. The only thing that they can really change is possibly better vegan options, and currently right now there's not even a cafe anymore. It's a convenience store, more or less, and you can buy coffee. So it's not a concern for me who's on it. They're not going to change anything for me, really. And so, I can see that where certain issues are not of importance.
It's just not importance to you.
Yeah.
So, but I think it should be open and then incentivized.
Yeah.
So, if it's of mild importance to you, you have the incentive to go. So you're going to go, plus then you can voice your opinion or whatnot. And yes, things happen more slowly. But I think there's an argument for things happening more slowly.
Yeah.
Things don't need to happen fast. Those changes don't need to happen fast. But I also do believe in the idea of allowing committees a certain amount of responsibility without having to go back for a vote. If you're on the food buying committee for an organization, if there's a list of food that the group has already said you could purchase and you're good to get or obtain or whatnot, I don't think that they need to go back every single time and vote on their grocery list.
Yeah.
Right? I think that only things that are outside that scope that group has been delegated to should go back to it. And I think that's totally fine. I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally okay with giving a group the responsibility of making sure the plumbing in the city is working. I'm okay with that. Now, if they need to allocate resources, or if they need to make really big decisions that will affect that society, yeah, it needs to come back to that society. But like, I don't think they need to come back to the society and be like, hey, there's a leak on this pipe over here. We need to repair it. What should we do?
Repair it.
I think that those type of bodies should be given a certain amount of an autonomous control over that subsect.
Totally.
I'm okay with that. I don't believe that's creating hierarchy. I believe that's just creating organization, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You don't have to get permission to fix something that's going to cause a problem to seek that permission anyway.
Yeah.
If there's a pipe that's leaking and it's flooding a basement,
you should fix that
you should
pipe.
fix the pipe. You don't have to seek permission.
You shouldn't go back to that society and be like, well, we need to fix this pipe. What should we do? Here's the 3 different ways we can fix it. Which kind of pipe should we replace it with? Or, to me, that's what will bog down the system.
Yeah.
But things that affect that society, yeah, they should be allowed to a society. And there should be, and in those groups, there should be a means of oversight where it's like, this is what we did this month. And anyone who has any concerns with it can be like, why did you do this? We can't allow this. We can't do this. This is why we're going to, and make it so you can remove people from those,
No, definitely. I think that, even if you do have a sort of...
and that's what I mean by that weird hybrid, of things working in that way.
I think, obviously people would criticize it and say that, someone's going to take advantage of it somewhere.
Yes.
But that's why there's checks and
Yeah,
balances.
somebody will take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge some people are just fucking assholes.
And that's when you...
But most people, I would argue that most people only do things like that because of monetary incentives. And so as long as those monetary incentives aren't existing, meaning that there is no real class system, I don't think that would create most of those problems.
No. You're not gonna screw everyone over in society, because then they're just gonna be pissed at you and you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah. Anyways,
Sweet.
we've been going on for a while.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Vegan stuff.
Vegan stuff.
Vegan.
Viva la vegan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vegan cookies and such. We said vegan a couple times, so
Let's go have some vegan ice cream.
Sounds good.
Hey, if you guys want some vegan ice cream with some vegan chocolate chip cookies, donate to Kickstarter. Let me know if it's after the 72 hours and you want the cookies. You have to buy the ice cream yourself, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep letting us know, though, and we're gonna come out with some awesome exit rewards and possibly maybe some middle rewards.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Hey, and I'll tell you right now, if you donate $100, I'll give you a nude photo of Jordan.
I guess he has nude photos of him.
I don't yet. I will acquire nude photos of Jordan.
Legally?
No.
Sweet.
I have some chloroform
Awesome.
and
Sounds
a
good.
camera.
Sounds good.
Someone's knocking, so we're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.